So it's like, then I told like the doctor, I said, whether it's the cream or the pills, if it's still itching, it's still, wait, are we live? Are we on? We're on.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, what's going on,
Seeing
everybody?
some levels here.
It's Diego and Cruz. Inked and chattered. Oh boy, I am embarrassed. Just ignore what I just said earlier. Ignore. It was a joke. For a friend. I asked for a friend. Nothing to see here. Carry on. What's going on, guys? Someone else in here. Yeah, who are you? Hey, what's going on, Daniel?
Not much. Hanging out.
Yeah? You ready to have a little fun for the next 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Let's do this.
This is the fourth most aficionado on music, fun facts, and I don't know. He's like Cards of Humanity, Twister, and Monopoly all in the same box.
Yeah, this guy can tell you
About anything.
Jimmy Page took a shit in 1969 at 4 o'clock in the morning. He's laughing
Because it's true, because he knows. Because he knows.
In London, actually.
Pretty close. For those of you who don't know, because we've talked about him a lot, this is your baby brother.
This is my wee brother.
Let's not use that word, but
It's younger.
He is, though.
Younger brother.
He is the baby of the family.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was very catered to. Got everything.
Oh, no, let's not get into that. That is not why we're here. We got plenty of other shit to argue about for the next 30 minutes. So you want to get right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, this is going to be my bad because we all know I prepare for shit. Like, if I was a doomsday planner, I'd be the first one to die in the movie. I would be the blonde that runs upstairs to get away from the man in the mask.
Right.
So, that being said, I took this top 25 most talented, and that was the marquee on Yahoo. It was just a random ass, I couldn't tell you the website it took me to or whatever. Top 25 most talented rock bands of the last squillion years, I guess, is kind of what it put into the blender, and they mixed it up. So let's get into it. You want to go from top to bottom to top, 25 to 1?
Yeah, let's do from worst to greatest.
Worst to greatest. You want me to let's run through all the 25?
Or not worst from greatest, least. To
Least,
greatest.
yeah, 25 to 1. So we'll just run through them real quick, and then we're going to go back through and, for lack of better words, obliterate this fucking list, because I don't agree with everything. I think all three of us agree to disagree on this entire list, including the number one. We'll get into it right now. So here we go. Top 25 most talented rock bands in the universe. Number 25, Rush. 24, Journey. Van Halen coming in at 23. Tom Petty, 22. CCR, 21. 20, Kiss. That's Cruz's favorite band, touring band, that is. 19, Eagles. 18, The Ramones. 17, Velvet Underground, which is like the cockroach of the rock bands on it, because they were on every list. Actually higher than this. They just survive.
You're just going to the kitchen for a warm glass of milk
And
flip on the lights, 3
boom.
in the morning. Ah, God, it's Velvet
Underground, Jesus. 16, Fleetwood Mac. 15, The Kinks. 14, The Doors. 13, Beach Boys. Number 12, Black Sabbath. AC/DC 11. Nirvana 10. Aerosmith 9. GNR, or Guns N' Roses for the kids out there. Number 8. 7, Metallica. Pink Floyd 6. Queen 5. The Who. Number 4. Zeppelin 3. Stones 2. And the Beatles, number 1, which they were basically number 1 on every one of these lists that we look through. I'm going to start there. I disagree right off the bat. Because if you want to talk about true rock bands, I get it. Beatles, kind of where it started. But if we want to get really crazy with rock, I guess Elvis is where it started, right? Exactly. So
You have a different opinion, but
which is what I like. But for my money, number 1 should be Led Zeppelin. It should start and finish there. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion.
yeah, there's a lot you could say about what kind of ground Led Zeppelin broke. I mean, they really brought the progressive rock and the difference in rock alive to a lot of people, especially in live audiences, you know. But I think what we're missing is where these people got their influences from, and so who was playing the rock, or, you know, the rockabilly of like the 50s and stuff, you know, like people like, you know, Chuck Berry and people like John Lee Hooker, you know, people like Lightning Hopkins. Those people were actually some of the fathers of rock. They weren't, you know, bands, but they were still people I would consider the fathers, like the rock.
And you have to agree with that. You can't disagree with that.
You can easily agree with it because a lot of your artists in the classic rock genre sampled from all those guys.
Exactly.
Even going into the 90s, you know.
Still to this day. To this day,
a
there's
lot
still
of those guys sampled from John Lee Hooker and all of them, you know.
The steel,
can easily say that
the bluesy guitar. We just listened for the last 2 hours to STP. I mean, that's just direct influence. You know, that just wow, 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 that sound. You know. By the way, speaking of, if anybody wants to know, that's. You actually got me this cup.
That's right.
And I drink things out of it with pride, this being coffee tonight, because I'm old. I can't do the whiskey and beer late into the night. That's horseshit. I just like, it's cold, and so I'm a sissy when it comes to cold weather. I need a nice warm drink to...
The greatest thing about that cup is the fact that, and he's the one who started it, he just all of a sudden started calling you Dad.
Yep.
So now it's just a running joke, and now you got the cup.
And I drink out of it when everybody's around.
It's just a common theme. Like any person that's a dad, it's just you have to. I don't know. Between my friends and I, we always just kind of say we always call people that are dads dad by dad, even if they're not our dad. We call them dad because they have a child.
And it's probably the most single-handedly greatest thing
Ever.
Ever.
Yeah, it brings warmth to my heart, which is why I drink out of that cup.
You hate it, but you love it at the
I
same
hate
time.
it, but I love it at the same time. There's a lot of that in my life. Speaking of hating and love it, did you see my hat tonight, fellas? Anything you'd like to say? Look at my hat.
Moving on, back to the list. Okay, so what do you think about Rush being at 25?
I don't agree. I think they should be middle of the pack. I think they should be over CCR, and I know I'd probably get jumped for that. I think they should also be over the Beach Boys, and yeah, right about there. I think they should be middle of the pack. Definitely over Velvet Underground, don't you think?
I think so.
I mean, I hate to just take a shit on the Velvet Underground, but
you take shit on the Velvet Underground.
Yeah, there it is. You know, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of Rush?
I mean, when you ask a lot of people who their favorite drummer is, you'll get a good handful of people that'll say Neil Peart, that's their favorite drummer. I mean, and that's, that was a long-standing drummer for Rush. But that's not the only thing that made Rush such a great rock band. I mean, Rush was then again in that late swing of that progressive rock era, the early 70s. And I think that they didn't get as much record sales as, a lot of the great rock bands at first, but...
Why is that? Do you think it's because they're Canadian?
I mean, there's a lot of Canadian rock bands that did good. The Guess Who, Turner Bach, Overdrive. I mean, they were Canadian rock bands that did good. Neil Young is fucking Canadian,
right? But he's Bay Area adopted, and also Canadian bands.
But he also had that kind of like little, and like against America, not against America, but like against the South kind of thing.
Yeah, yep.
With Leonard Skinner in the late 70s.
Got them mentioned in the song, yep.
In the song,
also
his song.
Another great rock band from Canada. It's our boy Jay Wendell's favorite band, Nickelback.
Is Nickelback from Canada?
Yeah, they're Canadian,
I did not know that.
They're Canadian. Yeah.
Well, are they all Canadian? Or
I believe so. Yeah, I believe they are.
I can't ever
really.
Chad Kroeger.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad Kroeger.
Chad Kroeger.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
It
makes sense
like a
now.
Canadian name.
Yeah.
But I mean.
Yep. The man with the most interesting Playboy interview in the history of Playboy interviews. Do you know what I'm talking about? Look it up. Read it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you know?
I don't know. Enlighten me.
So this was this is probably a good, 10 years ago. It's right at the height of Nickelback with, ironically, the song Something in Your Mouth came out. It thought it was a good time to go to Playboy. It was a good read because we all read Playboy, right? So he talked about how he used to score beer money back in the day. He would score beer money by sucking his own dick. Can't make that up. Look it up. You don't believe me? Look it up. Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. He used to
I
score
don't think it's
beer money.
physically possible for any man to suck his dick.
Oh, no,
I'm just saying.
There, let me pull some pictures.
No.
That's not the night I'm in for.
Oh man, is that the Zohan? That's. So enough about Nickelback, but sorry, Jay. Enough about Nickelback, but yeah, Rush should definitely be. So what do you? And these guys are near and dear to me. I'm a homer when it comes down to it. Journey. You knew where I was going on this.
City by the Bay.
Yep. I think Journey should be a little higher, not much higher. I think they should crack the top. They should be higher than the Velvet Underground.
God damn it.
I think everybody's going to be higher than the Velvet Underground on this
Let's
list.
just all agree Velvet Underground on this list
Number 25.
should be number 25.
I'm not agreed.
You not agreed? Who's below him?
Yeah.
No.
You
can't.
I mean, that's a hard. That's
okay, pick one. Who would you put at 25?
The Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys.
I would no Beach Boys. Pet Sounds, man. That album is amazing.
It's amazing. It's
If you ask
amazing.
anyone that says, "Do you like the Beach Boys?" I guarantee if you're like, "Hey, you ever heard Pet Sounds?" They probably would agree and love you and would want to sit down and listen to it now.
I have to agree. He swayed me. On this.
I mean, the Beach Boys. You got to remember they were also in that late '50s, so they had influential, and that's where it comes to me. Like, what makes them a great rock band? It has to do, in my opinion, with how influential they are. You know, the Beach Boys has certain influential sounds that makes them a great rock band.
So what about second choice then? Van Halen.
I think Van Halen should definitely be really. They're in a good spot in my opinion. If not 25, I would put Fleetwood Mac or Van Halen at 24 or 25. But then again, Fleetwood Mac's got a lot of great history. Early Fleetwood Mac's really good.
I think Fleetwood Mac should be higher than Van Halen.
Early guitar work is very bluesy and progressive rock instead of the takeover of two women's minds, which will corrupt a rock band.
So we can all agree Van Halen 25.
I'm okay.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, let's do that. Like Van Halen or Van Hagar? Huh?
Van Halen.
Were you David Lee Roth or you
David Lee Roth all the way?
Yeah?
The man took a fucking martial arts baton to his nose and tried to continue to play.
To the bridge.
You know what I mean?
Rough, too.
You got to give credit to anyone that has that much determination to put on a show.
I still like Sammy, though. I like Sammy out of Van Halen. I like Sammy Hagar out of Van Halen.
I just could never get into him. I like his voice. Just don't like the type of music that he produces. That's all.
I like his show. That's about as far as it goes for me.
It's a good show.
I like his show. That's about it.
Where he sat down with Cheech and Chong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. You know what it is about Sammy that I just can't get past? It's his lyrics.
Yeah,
I'm a pretty lyrical person.
I agree.
Yep.
With his lyrics, they just seem a little stock to my ears.
It seems like he's more worried about like rhyming.
Thank you, Lars.
Not telling a story. He's kind of just. He's really just putting out words on a piece of paper. It's not. There's no emotion. Sometimes. Maybe I'm speaking out of my ass, but
no, I agree.
My opinion.
I agree. So now that we've settled in on Van Halen, number 25, some of the others I think should be higher. I think Tom Petty should be higher.
All right, let's do this. Let's go through our top fives.
On this list
on this list.
Okay.
What are your top five?
Okay.
I don't like that.
From 5 up?
Just right off the top of your head, just go with emotion. Do it.
Go with emotion and do it. Okay.
Just imagine you can only pick 5 out of that list. Those are your top 5.
Mine are I'm gonna say that mine are gonna be the most influential, most likely.
That's
you want to go?
Whatever
Yeah,
top
whatever
5 that you want.
You want to
I
go
wouldn't
first?
say no.
No, no. Shit, I'll go first. Okay,
Go
I'll go first. So you got number 5, and here we go. Number 5, Nirvana, because they changed. That was the changing of the guard. So it went from glam, Motley Crue, Poison, Def Leppard to here's these kids that just play really loud and wear their grandpa's clothes, So number 5 for me would be Nirvana. Number 4, I'd probably keep it right there at The Who. Number 2, Stones. Number 3, Stones. Number 2, Beatles. Number 1, Zeppelin. I mean, it didn't change much, but I just to get it, and that's half emotion and half of, you just kind of plug everybody else. You know, there's like your top 5 that really change things, and then there's everybody else. You could put Metallica in the top 5 if you wanted to easily. You could bump.
Consider them a rock band though. I think that they're on that heavy swing of the new wave of metal, which would be a whole different top 25.
Which is
when they
true.
First started, they were thrash.
They were thrash metal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was metal. It's a different thing. You know, you can even say that Sabbath was the starting of metal too.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that's why.
Which I
because they're technically doom metal or stoner metal. Whatever you
Yeah,
want
I
to
mean
call
they
it.
have obviously blues influences, but I just still think that would be, if we're going to like blues rock influences or blues rock top 25, I would say that those are the 2 that I wouldn't put in a top 5 in my opinion.
So what would be your top 5?
Did you already get 3?
I did. Yeah, I got through. Basically, I swapped the top 3, 4, and then put Nirvana in at 5.
Okay, well I'm gonna agree right there. Nirvana at 5 because they're on that later cusp, but they're still very influential. I mean, not that a lot of the grunge bands in that era weren't influential, and that Nirvana didn't take what a lot of the bands from the late 80s or mid 80s, like Husker Du, like what they were doing.
Husker Don'ts.
Which is funny because it's a band. It's called Husker Du that Nirvana took a lot of influence from. But they're definitely my number 5 just from influence. And I mean, you can't not love Kurt. I mean, come on, man. He brings an aura that you really like, especially as an entertainer and a performer. And then number 4 is probably going to be CCR for me. I really love what they had. I mean, they're very influential to me. Just the sound, the style, the uniqueness of the swamp style. Even though they're not even from the swamp, they're from Encino, California, which is
A little swampy.
It's not swampy
It's
unless you're trying to build a pool.
You've seen the movie.
Yeah, everyone's seen it. And then I think 3 is going to be Tom Petty. Tom Petty holds a really special place in my heart, so that's probably going to be a biased one. And a lot of people are like, that's too high for him. But he has a lot of influence, in my opinion, as songwriting. And I mean, if you're one of those people that are on record sales or ticket sales and stuff, I mean, he's going to be up there with the Beatles and the Led Zeppelins as long as he would have kept going if he would have lived, so. Yeah,
for sure. Not to mention he scored all that money, started his band by slipping on the pee-pee in the Walmart.
Yeah, because we're in Mike Judge's voice. For the people that don't know, Tom Petty plays the voice of Lucky in the TV show
King of the Hill. Slipped on the pee-pee in the Walmart. Hurt my neck.
That's how he has all that money to just live a redneck drunk life. Perfect person to live that.
Oh,
life.
dude, yeah, for sure.
But then at number 2, it's going to be the Doors. I mean, can't not like Jim Morrison. Ray Manzarek, I mean, his organ and piano playing is, especially in that late 60s, when you had people like the Zombies and stuff like that with that really, the Animals, they had that really high organ sound. The Doors came out swinging with their nuts heavy, and they really put a lot of influence. I mean, a lot of people even say that the Doors put punk influence back then. And some people will agree with that, because I slightly agree that they had certain songs where it was kind of punky-ish, So even back then, there's influences that led really far. And then number 1, it's gonna be fucking Led Zeppelin. 4 of the greatest guys to come together and make some of the greatest music that most people are ever gonna hear. And if you haven't heard, then go out and take a listen.
Listen to it. listen to. So for all the talks that we had before, and in the beginning, why not the Beatles? Anywhere in that top 5. I mean, I don't disagree.
Well, see, the Beatles. Then this is only based on my opinion. This isn't. This is everyone's top 5 or 25 or 100 is going to be different. This is mine as a musician or as a listener. This is mine. And the Beatles were never big growing up for me. I didn't get into the Beatles even until late in my teens, cuz Beatles wasn't something, I heard Beatles songs like Come Together and Hey Jude and stuff that were on the radio, but I never went out and sought for it myself, such as the other music that I talked about. Because that music I very much did go out and look for, but with the Beatles there wasn't much influence there as a younger kid or when I was getting into music, so that's why they're not up that high. And maybe because I think everyone says that they're number 1, so it can't be in my top 5 because to me it's almost seems too cliche.
Rebel. I like it though.
A little rebellious.
I like it.
You're the true punk rocker.
Yeah,
that's right. Yep. There's a lot of punk in me.
Those chops speak for themselves. All right, I guess I'll go with my top 5. I'm gonna stick with the pact. Actually, Nirvana's gonna be number 5 for me. For all the same reasons.
Yep.
Number 4 is gonna be Queen, actually, because
I like that.
One of the first mainstream bands that had the real long tracks on their albums, and really fought for it. I'm talking mainstream,
right,
really big,
right,
touring in the U.S. and whatnot. Number 3. That's a hard choice. It's a really hard choice. I'm battling between Rush and The Doors on that one.
Okay.
I think I'm going to stick with The Doors. That's based off personal opinion. Just because Jim Morrison is just... His voice is like with Daniel, it's more like...
Robbie...
Personal, because...
Robbie Kugler's guitar playing also.
Exactly. Let's see.
When Jim tells Robbie, he's like... In one of his songs, he's like... Do it, Bobby, and he just starts going. You can't not love that.
Number 2 is going to be the Eagles.
Okay, I knew that was coming with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the Eagles will forever hold a special place in
Win
my
the
heart.
division.
And also a very impressive band. Not all members, but one of the longest time all-member bands that stayed together.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yep. Now, are they all still alive?
Especially with a lot of different singers, too.
Glenn Fry.
Glenn Fry passed.
Glenn Fry passed, and then I'm blanking on the bass. It was a rhythm guitarist that they let go.
Yeah.
I can't. Can you remember his name?
I can't think of his name to save my
Blonde
life.
curly hair. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's the only member.
Yeah.
That didn't.
Don?
No, what
No,
Don
no,
Henley?
Don Henley's
Don
the
Henley's
drummer.
yeah.
Wait, who are we talking about? I'm sorry.
The Eagle.
He was I want to say he was a rhythm guitarist. I don't want. No, maybe it was. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Moving on.
For that many guys to stay in a band
Longevity,
together
yeah.
for that long,
Yep.
that is very impressive.
And
also, it's Southern rock, and I love Southern rock. Leonard Skinnard's there, but they don't have the same credo as the Eagles.
You're a big Southern rock guy too.
Was Skinnard even on this list?
No.
In fact, Skinnard wasn't even on that.
No, they're not on that list.
And see, Skinner would totally be up there like 7 or 8. For me.
Yeah.
We'll get to that too. Yeah,
Okay.
oh,
And
yeah.
then,
My
of course,
bad
number
for-
one, number 1, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, that's. I think we're
You
all.
can't-
My hardest decision on that was Nirvana 5, but if there was just a little bit more room in that top 5, but who do you bump out of that? I think I'll be honest. Like honestly, I thought about taking the Who out and putting Nirvana 4, GNR 5, or 5-4, if you want to talk about changing the ways,
Yeah.
because Guns N' Roses kind of blew the lid off when they come out. They're like, oh, these guys look like
it's just
women
another hair
with
metal
a
band,
top hat.
but they
Oh
weren't.
my God.
Mhm.
Yeah. So For sure. So yeah, so we all kind of agreed to disagree. We started and finished the same. We all like kind of different jelly in our peanut butter sandwiches. Yeah, which there's nothing wrong with. I like it. So that brings me to the next question then. Who's not in this top 25 that needs to be? Which I know we can go another hour and a half on that, but just if you just pick pick one. You got to just pick one. I don't care where they're
Who's
at.
in the top 25?
Who's
not in there?
Who's not in there that should be in the top 25?
Man.
Yeah.
Daniel already said one.
He already got one out.
That's Leonard Skinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He should be in
Skinner.
there.
I mean, if you want to put it in a different category, Southern rock, whatever that may be, but they're still up there. I mean, they put out some great music. You got to put them in there in the top 25 at least.
I agree.
Opinion.
I agree.
Well, and like the Ramones, I mean, that's a different. If we're talking about rock, say we're being specific on genre, get the Ramones out of there. Swap them for Skinner. But
Yep.
that's just my opinion.
So you got Skinner. You both have Skinner? Or do you got somebody else in mind? Go ahead. Bring it on.
I wouldn't say Skinner's
Lay
that
it on
one
me.
band. I'm not going to say Skinner's that one band that I would put in there.
I think Soundgarden should
I knew it. And I agree though. I do agree though because they finished. So and here's where I get in trouble with everybody, and I know they're gonna light me up on this, and I stand true to this day, and that's why I give Pearl Jam so much shit to this day. I don't like Pearl Jam, and this is why.
You like Pearl Jam. Everybody likes Pearl Jam.
I liked 10. I liked the first two albums. After that, so Nirvana started it. Technically, Soundgarden started it. Nirvana and Mudhoney, right? But Nirvana was the first to get it perfected, so to speak.
It's hard to say that too
It-
because they were all
They were all there.
yeah
they were all there.
They were all doing this
Alice in Chains,
Yeah.
Mudhoney, Soundgarden, Nirvana, which was kind of not the outcast, but they were, because of Kurt, they were the redheaded stepchild in the corner. I think what helped them was just
Well, really, what happened is they were the first one off of Sub Pop. Sub Pop was that was the record company and like kind of little label that they had there in the Seattle area, and they had all these bands on there. Mudhoney that you spoke of, Nirvana, Soundgarden at one point. These bands were on this label, and this was a small indie label. These were bands that weren't very popular. These were bands that didn't go all over the states. They normally stayed in, maybe the West Coast. They went to California. They went in other cities in Seattle, but they didn't go much other than that. And Nirvana was one of those the first ones to go and boom all over the place.
Yeah.
Everywhere they played all over the place. I mean, so you kind of right in that aspect.
I guess this is my turn now. Yeah, it's gonna be the unpopular vote, and I always swing this way. It's gonna be Korn. It's gonna be Korn.
You're gonna
Why?
throw Korn?
Why is Korn not on this top 25? Why, as an influential, talented,
So,
who would I take out? The Velvet Underground.
okay, I understand why you're saying Korn.
Yeah.
But you're gonna say Korn and not Slipknot?
Yes. Only because
That's a tough one.
I feel that Korn started it. As far, and what I mean by it is, much like we said, the grunge scene was who started the grunge scene. Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Mudhoney, Alice in Chains. So at the same time when all that was happening, and I guess maybe and it's just my perspective because I was there. I remember Korn opened for Tom Petty. I can remember my uncle going to watch Tom Petty at Shoreline Amphitheater and coming back and being like, Tom Petty was awesome. There was this fucking band from Baco. Their name was Korn. Everybody made fun of them until it was over. And they were amazing, And so it was like, there was just these punk kids wearing the Adidas, wearing the Dickies, wearing the culture, right? The culture with the sound. They started that. Bah! So then you followed suit. POD we're going to put to the side because
They don't even like being lumped into
they
that.
hate that. We know that for a fact. Like any Sonny Sandoval interview you've ever watched, POD was around before any of them. Korn, once again, much like the Nirvana of the grunge scene, was the first to get it right. in mainstream.
No,
in mainstream.
I understand completely where
Yeah.
you're coming from. I'm gonna say Slipknot over Korn because Slipknot got most of their sound and most of their look stolen in other bands in that genre.
Over
So
time.
If you want to talk about personal, I get it.
Yeah.
Korn,
Yep.
but as influential, Slipknot's
Slipknot.
gonna take the
No,
cake.
I get it too. I get that as well. And as far as talented, now pure talent, Slipknot over all. I'm sorry, Slipknot over a lot of this list.
Yeah.
You got classically trained. You got Corey Taylor that could sing church hymns and then turn around and sing anything, satanic that Slipknot may or may not have. No, I agree with you there. Yeah, but just for my money, not saying they're number one, not saying they're number two. They could be number 25. Korn.
They could be three.
They could be three. You never know. Just do what you want to do. But yeah, for my money, Korn should be on there somewhere because they started that next wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it too. And the other crazy thing is as well, if you're gonna throw the Beatles on there, why isn't Elvis on this? And I'm not a huge Elvis fan. I'm just saying I'm not an Elvis fan at all. Now that I actually say that out loud, why isn't he on that list somewhere?
Yeah.
He started it.
But I mean,
technically.
like all top whatever.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
it's a great
biased
debate.
and-
It's a great debate. Put
Whatever-
Nickelback on there
whatever-
for Jay Wendell.
It's kind of in that in between area too. Like just like with Korn, I have no disagreements on how great that band is. Especially living near the area of Bakersfield for some time.
You were there for
I know
a little
how
while.
the Adidas and the khaki wearing motherfuckers be. I know how you guys grew. But
I love him.
I love those guys.
That's me. He's talking about
I
me.
just think that there's a fine line in between like what describes them as a band and like genre, and a lot of people will label them. I consider it rock all day and night, 100%. But I think when it comes to like lists like this top 25 that I see before me, it's a different. There's some ones that I would take out even out of this list. And put them in a different list, like even Nirvana and Sabbath and.
Oh, for sure.
And the Ramones, I would take them out and put them in a different list, But it's all up to opinion, really, when it comes to that.
So for speaking of four, just out of just morbid curiosity, I already have my answer. We call them the Big Four, right? The Big Four: Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer. And then, who's the fourth one? That's the redheaded stepchild. It's the
Megadeth?
No, it's Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and there's one more fucking
Iron Maiden?
Is it Iron Maiden? It's the four big metal bands of like the 80s.
Anthrax. It's Anthrax.
Is it Anthrax?
Yeah, it's Anthrax.
Probably Anthrax.
It's Anthrax.
Like the four-headed metal monster.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be Megadeth, Metallica, Anthrax,
Slayer.
and
Slayer. In that order? Is that your top four?
Is that my top four?
Yeah, give me your top four.
If it's that four?
Yeah. For the metalheads out there, which we got a lot of them.
Anthrax, Metallica, Megadeth.
Mine's probably gonna be Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax.
I'm gonna go with number one being Slayer, number two, 1A being Metallica, only because of staying power, and Slayer too. I mean, they just wrapped up their career,
Just now,
literally just now, and then Anthrax, and then Megadeth. I know Megadeth never gets the love, especially from a Metallica's fan base because of Dave Mustaine, but you still have to give them that credit.
Yeah, I bounce back and forth with Metallica and Megadeth.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to love.
With Slayer and
kinda have
Anthrax,
to love them
those
both.
two, to me, are the marquees of metal.
Are they
If you're gonna
the
put-
pace setters?
Yeah,
the
you're gonna
big
put those
four?
four together. You can't. I don't know. To me personally, you cannot top Anthrax and Slayer.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of metal bands at the 80s that probably didn't get, the light of day, and didn't get the record sales as those bands. So
Yeah.
Plenty of them. Yeah, there's plenty of them.
And I
they
guess
were really good too, They were, probably really great.
to keep playing off of this, who would be? So you got we've seen it on Facebook. You got $5, or you got $10, and you got to build a bill and 4 bands. I'm gonna cut it down to 3, just because make it a little harder / easier. Whether you've ever seen them, you've seen them a million times, you weren't born yet, or whatever. Who are your top? If it was 3 bands could be on a bill together, touring, coming to Nashville, who would they be for you guys? Who would be your top 3 of all time? It could be fucking Celine Dion, Megadeth, and Chuck Berry. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are your 3? What's your top 3 dream tour?
Lead Belly, Led Zeppelin, and probably the Doors, just because I heard the Doors are so magical. So.
That's hard for me.
That's rough, right? It's hard for me sitting here.
It's hard.
Like, to me, it depends on the venue.
And I think your answer would change.
Ryman Auditorium.
If it's a personal, it's a more intimate,
Mm-hmm.
then it's gonna be, man. Zeppelin. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna start opener, closer.
You can start from, okay.
Opener, closer. Incubus, Doors, Zeppelin.
Damn, I like that. I don't know that I can produce. Like, pig-headedly, the answer to me is I've seen everybody I've ever wanted to see, except for the ones, the untouchables. The Linkin Park. I lost, opportunity there because of Chester Soundgarden, because of Chris Cornell. And then there's ones I've never seen, always wanted, like a Blink-182 type. So for me to... But then I've seen everybody else on the in-between as well, so it's kind of hard to not sit here and be like, Deftones, which you got to give me credit. I've not said Deftones not one time.
I was waiting on
Well, and they're my favorite band of all fucking time, but it's like, where do they fit? They fit everywhere. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion on them, and I don't think many people could argue that. They just fit everywhere. A top 3 bill for me, I guess opener would... Opener would be Nirvana. Full-fledged Nirvana with Pat. So the unplugged Nirvana.
Which he played other shows as well.
Yeah.
He would play other shows.
And then, this is really hard. I'm just going to go ahead and throw them in there. Deftones. And then Led Zeppelin. Yeah, that would be it.
That's an odd bill.
Is that not? Yeah, that's crazy, right? Yeah, that's
an odd bill.
Yeah. Yeah, so that would be it.
Not mad at it.
Hey, I'm mad at anything that anybody said, right? Yeah, that's just kind of that's where it's all with honorable mention of they were on the bill and then they had to back out last second.
Actually, I want to change.
Blink-182. Go for it.
Well,
go for it.
Well,
wait.
I completely forgot. I forget about my brother Jimmy. My dude Jimmy.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Because like I said, the Doors were electrifying. But I guarantee, if I was alive back in those days, I would probably follow that man to the day he died. Anywhere he played, I guarantee it. And I'm sure he was just as electrifying as everyone says he was. So
I could see it.
I'd put him definitely, probably my main act.
He would be the main. He would be the closer.
It would probably be Led Zeppelin, Lead Belly, then Jimmy.
Nice.
Just because those are 3 really big influential people.
Nice.
Bands or people.
With honorable mention, Weezer. That's the one I've never seen that's still around to this day. I've never seen them.
Yeah, I've never seen them either. I would like to see them. They're a pretty sweet band.
Yeah. So that's it. That.
Okay, so one more question.
Yeah.
One more question and then we'll get off here.
Okay.
3 guitarists. It can be bass.
Yep.
Or lead.
Okay.
Solo acts.
Solo acts. Do they have to be solo acts?
You mean rhythm or lead?
No. Lead. Lead or bass.
Okay.
No rhythm. Because rhythm doesn't really count. Lead or bass guitarist.
That's not fair to a lot of people.
I've seen it in his face.
As a rhythm guitarist.
I've seen it on his face.
It don't matter. Bass are more important.
They're not real people.
All right.
I want you to pick 1 bass guitarist and 2 lead guitarists.
Okay.
It can be in either order: bass, lead, or lead, bass, lead.
So do you have yours already?
I do, but you guys go ahead.
No, you give yours first. Give us time. To that way we're not just sitting here staring at the floor.
Okay.
So you go ahead, because I think I've got mine locked in, but I got to perfect it in my mind.
I don't know.
It's going to be lead, bass, lead.
Lead. Okay.
So, Tom Morello, Les Claypool, Jimmy.
Fuck. You almost mirrored half of what I had.
Jimmy who? Jimmy Page or
Jimmy Page. Jimmy
Yeah.
Page.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That okay, so
Yeah,
we
Jimmy Page.
change the game a little
Yeah.
bit then. Okay. All right.
Jimmy, man.
Jimmy. Bro.
Okay.
Jimmy.
Off
The hook.
Wait, what is this list for? Like your favorite or your most influential?
No, this is... Okay, these are 3 guitarists that you would pay money to go see a solo act.
Oh,
But you have an opener, a mid, and a closer.
oh, for sure. Opener Jimmy Page because he wouldn't disappoint. And then middle bass player, right? Is supposed to be bass player. I'd do Cliff Burton because I mean, rest in peace, man.
Love it.
Metallica bass player, and he did the finger thing better than anyone does now, man.
In the words of Kurt.
I mean, Robert Trio does it good, but Cliff was this skinny hand, long finger, kind of like walked it really well. So I would love to see that. And then number 3, I'd probably pick Tony Iommi just because I could sit there and watch that guy play guitar for hours, and I already have.
But you would do it again.
But I would do it again,
Yeah.
even with all the instruments not there, Just because he's so interesting to watch, and the way he takes about making music come out of that guitar is quite interesting.
I like that. I like that 3. So I think I've settled on my 3. There's
Okay.
gonna be Hendrix first and foremost.
Okay.
Then you got. This is where it starts getting cloudy on me now. Hendrix. Bass. I'm gonna throw the curveball and say Fieldy. I hate to go back to the well, but without Fieldy, you don't have a Korn. You don't have that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But he played a lot of stand-up in some songs, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Plays stand-up bass.
Yeah. And then, man, that last one's just kind of. You can just throw one up there, and call it what you want. Dave fucking Grohl. Dave Grohl.
That would be a...
The thing is
Yeah.
that Dave Grohl is going to probably be one of those best ones to put on there because for a fact anyone that's watched this fucking YouTube video knows that Dave Grohl is a great musician. Not only that, he's
a great entertainer.
He's a
Yeah,
great entertainer.
exactly.
I mean, think of the bands he's fucking played for.
I'm-
Queens of the Stone Age.
Yes.
He's played with Tenacious D. He's fucking
Tom-
was the drummer for Nirvana.
Tom Petty. He's filled in.
He filled in for Tom
Tom
Petty
Petty.
on the David Letterman thing.
Plus, if he sucked, get your ass on that kit.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
Which he's not going to suck at guitar or
No.
bass or singing or drums. He's going to do good in all. So he would be definitely a good musician to go see.
I got to see him live. I got to see him live, and I think minus Hendrix, I've seen Korn many times, and I got to see the Foo Fighters, and that was the show after he broke his leg. They came to Nashville. He was on his crown, or he's on his fucking throne, and he still brought the house down with a foot in the fucking air. Like it just that for me that would be it right there.
I like it.
Yeah, yep,
It's good.
yep. So that's it. This is nice. We filled up almost 45 minutes. This is
that
good.
it?
Yeah. Hey, on side note, I need to ask a question real fast.
You don't need to...
Yeah, I
you
want to
don't need
talk about it.
comment on
No, I want to talk about it. What's wrong with your ownership? Jerry Jones, you're going to hold on. And if anybody that doesn't know out there, and I don't think it'll change your opinion, because there's a lot of Cowboys fans in America. They are, after all, America's team. They cut their kicker right after he spent time with kids in the hospital. What are you doing, Jerry? Yet Jason Garrett out here going to win the division at 7-9. Maybe 6-10. Gonna
I
fuck
don't
around.
know. I'm an Ohio State fan. I don't know what you're talking about.
Selling them out.
That doesn't wear a Cowboys hat. Damn it.
And yeah, you are wearing your Cowboys hat. And then honorable mention, I want anybody watching our video tonight, which, by the way, please go and hit the subscribe button on Inked and Chatted. We try to do this thing as much as possible. Go to our website, which is www.theasylum.productions, where you can find everything we do there. If there's anybody in the world, because we're worldwide on our morning shows and on this, thank you, YouTube, anybody that has the surplus that works at Walmart that has that Santa sweatshirt right here, Let It Snow,
Yeah, please.
please send 3 our way.
Please
We'll
send it our
gladly
way.
we'll gladly promote your whatever you got going on. Even if your grandma's got a knitting channel,
I will wear that
I
the
will
rest
wear-
of the
I'm
summer.
not surprised.
The
I wouldn't
shit
be
out of that.
surprised Walmart puts shit out like that.
I kind of want to go right now and see if it's just maybe there by accident. You know, there's that one asshole.
In Cookville probably would be.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
That one asshole
If
that's
not,
like,
I'll
yeah,
do
boss,
it."
I got them all. Hit it somewhere in like
Damn
the
it,
woman's
Jared.
blouses. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, if anybody can get their hands on that, is that Santa or is that just a snowman in a Santa suit?
I just think that's just a Coke monster.
It's
That's Santa made out of Coke.
oh man, that's
Oh, no.
beautiful though. Yeah, if you can get your hands on that, Let It Snow, because we love Christmas around here. That's all. You send it our way. Send it care of Inked and Chattered, and we'll take care of you. Real nice, real nice.
Make sure we have a white Christmas.
Oh boy, little Bing Crosby. The other way, though. The Dave Chappelle version of Bing Crosby.
Yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Make sure you're checking out the Facebook page, Instagram page. We're on every platform. Also, check out the website. That'll lead you to every other thing that we do, www.theasylum.productions. Any bands that want to be played on our show, any bands that want to be put into a show, hit us up at
www.theasylum.productions. Or was I supposed to give our emails?
Give our emails.
Our emails. You can hit us up at Diego@theasylum.productions or Cruz@theasylum.productions. If you want to sit on one of the Inked and Chattered shows, we'll get you in. We'll Skype you in. Or you can come here to our studios. We'd gladly
Treat
like
you
to
real
do this
nice.
again. Real nice. Just ask Daniel. He knows all about it. Yeah? Did you enjoy yourself? Did you have a good time?
Go start the bath,
Yeah,
boy.
get in there right now.
I'm
Take your
in
shoes
danger.
off. That's gonna wrap it up for us today. I'm sure we'll be back in another few days. So please like, subscribe, do all the good things, and give some love to the Facebook page, and give some love to our brothers and sisters out there. Honest Brutality, right? That's our Cali connection. And then the folks up north, I'm gonna give a little love that way.
Yeah, Midwest Metal
There
Show.
it is, Jay Wendell. Let him know that you too love Nickelback in the closet. It's gonna wrap it up for us. We'll see you guys soon.